Welcome back to the podcast. This week, we're covering two main topics, one being sensor size and the actual realities of it in 2026. And the other is how to make yourself AI-proof, because the last week has been a bit of a whirlwind for us in that sense. So I think it's definitely something worth considering. I'm joined once again this week by Rob.
Howdy.
Rob was not here last week. We had Jack in, young Jack, although for those who don't know, we don't actually form these in a...
No, they're not chronologically ordered.
I think Jack's was filmed last year sometime, before Christmas. But this one here is filmed, this is going out, not real time, but pretty close to real time. 21st of Feb, it's going out maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. No, Sunday's tomorrow, 23rd. I got on the 23rd. But the reason we're doing this, somewhat of an emergency podcast episode, is because we had a video do particularly well on YouTube about sensor size. Now, actually, Rob, I don't know. Have you seen that video?
Yes.
You have seen it. Super. So you're somewhat aware of what's
Believe it or
in the
not,
video.
I do actually following you and watch your content.
Do you know, I wasn't sure if you did or not, but there we go. So we're going to cover that, and then we're going to cover some actual business stuff with AI, because there has been a huge change in recent weeks. But yeah, so Rob, what have you been up to though? When did we last film? It seems like a while ago.
2 weeks
Two weeks ago?
Actually, yeah, we're actually almost back on plan.
Didn't we only do one YouTube video though?
Yes, we did one YouTube video.
Podcast.
2 edits.
That was it. Did 2 edits, 1 video, and then what did we do for the rest of the day?
Fitted reversing cameras in your car.
Oh yeah, put some reverse cameras in the car. That was it. There we go.
Yeah, so if anybody wonders what I do for you on the regular.
Fit my sound system, fit the reverse camera. What else? We did loads of like jobs around the studio, didn't we? We just got like tech.
Put some more cameras up generally in studio.
We did an entirely additional I've already got 2 security. It's a little bit gone Fort Knox paranoid in here. I've already got 2 separate independent security systems throughout the building, throughout my building. And we've added a 3rd one just in case.
And hardwired them to the main so they never run out of electricity anymore.
With backup batteries.
Yeah.
So, and then they all, we've got cloud security, hardwired security, battery security. Nothing's getting through.
Yeah, full on belt and braces.
And then all sorts of good stuff in here. I won't go into that because don't really want to discuss your security systems. But yeah, we've done a security system. Overkill.
So it was a very a busy day.
It was a busy day. It was a very busy day. And then the security system, one of them, it was interesting actually, one of them went down because the Wi-Fi died.
Yes.
And it was good to know that the other 2 carried on working with no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And it was all because BT had supplied a faulty plug socket that they knew was faulty, but they wait for you to contact them for when the fault happens. But there we go. Boring stuff indeed. We had Paul in yesterday. We're shooting content for Studio Access and for YouTube, like, doing videos, tutorial videos. You can still get a free day on Studio Access. If you sign up, you basically got a 24-hour window to cancel before you charge. So you can have a look and go, yeah, this is a bit weird. It's not for me.
I highly recommend anyone doing it, even if they just binge all the content and then never pay you any money.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just go sign up, binge it, get rid of it. It's give it a go. Like, have a look, see if it's for you. We've got our first call coming up as well soon. We're going to do a monthly workshop over at Studio Access where people can drop in and have a bit of a, I don't know what to call it, like a workshop, a session. You can ask me anything.
Yeah, it's almost like an after hours.
Yeah, like an after hours session. You can come and get everything fixed. So, sensor size. Before we go into this, we're going into this today from the point of view of professional photography. And we're also, this is where it gets confusing. People go, oh, you can get equivalent focal lengths. And you can and you can't, is the answer to that. And depending on what it is you're thinking is equivalent depends on whether it's right or wrong. In my head, as far as I'm concerned, for the practicalities of what I do for a job, there is no such thing as an equivalent focal length.
No, I mean, what there is, and I think this is where there's so much misinformation, is there's equivalent field of view, not the same thing.
And field of view is not the same as perspective.
No.
And that's where it all goes horribly muddy and murky. But that's not to say that I can't get 2 cameras out and go, well, this one's got a 50, this one's got a 35, looks about the same.
Yeah.
If I chuck this one at 1.8 and this one at f4, it's about the same, or 2.8, whatever it is. Yes, I understand that. It's not what the majority of the internet thinks it is, though. And it matters and it doesn't matter. So, for example, I like to shoot on my 90mm Acti lens. That is my workhorse lens. Commercial job comes in, 90mm Acti lens. When I'm shooting on the Canon system, which sometimes I have to do for logistical or practical reasons, we shoot on a 100mm or 90mm tilt shift lens. Now, equivalently, in terms of what people say is equivalent focal length, they ain't the same. But I like the way that a 90mm lens performs. And it's not just compression, it's also how it handles light coming in. No one talks about this. You start using equivalent focal lengths and smaller sensors, and you're using studio lighting or the sun's in the wrong position, you've got some problems with haze and flare and ghosting. Struggle to get that on a 90mm lens.
I mean, that's probably as much about the coating than it is the actual focal length and the lens design itself.
A lot is the coating, yeah. But in terms of where you can place a light to get the flare, you can't use a 31mm lens instead of I don't know if these numbers are correct, instead of a 50, and place the light in the same place. Because although field of view is the same, what goes on with that background is not the same.
Very
it
different,
throws it out. We shot the test shots to show people. And I put them on the internet and everyone was like, you're wrong. I was like, but look, no, they're the same. I was like, they're not the same. That picture frame on the wall is moving.
Yeah, now, as a more moving picture kind of operator, that's amplified about 100 times when you start walking with things.
Oh, yes. Yeah. When you start moving the camera forwards and backwards, that background moving around and stuff, it's
different ball game.
Whole different ball game.
On a single shot, you'd be like, that's similar. But the minute you start to move it, no, completely different.
So for a quick example, and I'm not going to go technically into this, I'm just going to explain it in layman's terms. So don't come at me with technicalities here. If I shoot with my GFX and the 90mm, and then I go and put what would probably be about a 65mm on my Canon, and I frame it so the subject is the same size, the background is different. And that means that light I've got in the back right corner giving a bit of a rim light to the bottle I'm photographing, for example, is now causing haze, is now causing flare, is now causing ghosting, is now ruining my contrast. And you might go, oh, who cares? Who does care? Well, when the client turns around and goes, the label on the bottle is not as punchy as I want it to be.
I think it's fair to say that you love haze and lens flare more than most people alive.
Oh, I literally, look at Rob's shot, the haze coming through. I've put lights on behind me to get haze. I want lights in the lens, but I want to be able to control it. I often shoot, we've got a whole video on this in Studio Access actually, with an additional light just shooting into the lens. But I want to control the haze. I don't just want to have it because it's there.
You don't want chaos.
I do not want chaos. And I find if I go longer than 90, I can control the haze even more and control where the lights go in relation to everything. But in doing so, I compress my shot too much and it loses that real life look. Now, everyone's like, yeah, it's great, Scott. You're a studio photographer. Well done. You like a big sensor and a long lens. I shoot something else. Here is I'm going to ask you your take on this. For stills only, my personal take on what each sensor size is good for. Micro Four Thirds, which tends to be the angriest demographic on the internet. Nothing. I cannot think of a reason in stills when you can get a Fuji 100X, whatever they're called, what are they called? The
X100,
X100, they're completely backwards. Or you can get a Ricoh GR, whatever it is, that actually fits in your pocket with an APS-C sensor. Why you would go smaller? Is there?
The lenses are small, light, less, shall we say, obvious. If you're a street photographer, then that's the stealth option.
The Micro Four Thirds?
Yeah, because the lenses are tiny little things.
But they're still bigger than the built-in lens in the...
Well, I mean, unless you're running like a bridge camera, but yeah.
Yeah, I still think a Ricoh GR3 is smaller than a Micro Four Thirds with a lens on it. And because the lenses and Micro Four Thirds are at least yay big.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it's not like, some bloke whopping out his 5D Mark IV with a 70-200.
No, exactly.
It's not that blatantly obvious.
Now, a few people in the comments said, yeah, well, I do landscape stuff and I've got to walk all this way. And Ansel Adams, the old geezer, 8x10 camera, wooden tripod, walking through the American mountains.
That's old school right there.
Behave, Micro Four Thirds for the weight in a carbon fiber tripod. I like, behave. That's ridiculous. And of all the things to photograph with a small sensor, landscape ain't the one. I would get and I have toyed with the idea of buying the Ricoh because I was going to buy the X100 camera, but I know it doesn't fit in my pocket. And because of that, I know it's never coming anywhere with me. I was going to buy a Ricoh GR, but then I went, my phone is with me all the time. Now, yes, Micro Four Thirds is better than my phone, and APS-C, which is what the Ricoh and the Fuji are, is better than my phone. But I not enough.
In decent light shooting landscapes, it's not that far off.
Taking pictures of my kids and my dog, which is all I take photographs of outside of work. So I think more Micro Four Thirds is redundant. Crop sensor. I think crop sensor, APS-C we're talking here, which is like the 1.5 to 1.6. Canon used to have a 1.3 for the sports. I actually have a strong opinion on that being one of the greatest crop sensors ever to be made. But your standard APS-C sensor, whatever brand, here's my take on it. Cameras like the Ricoh GR, Fuji X100 series, absolutely. That is where APS-C belongs. Buying a DSLR with an APS-C camera because it's slightly lighter in weight, it's just not like it. It's not going in your pocket.
Or DSLM.
Or DSLM or mirrorless, whatever.
Now, yeah.
It's not going in your pocket.
No.
That is not a pocket
not
camera.
Even close.
Just go a little bit bigger and get full frame. And also, the latest crop sensor camera, for the same price, secondhand, you can get a better full frame camera.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy a new, brand new to you APS-C camera, go and buy a secondhand full frame.
And, you know, I mean, we're not sponsored by them. I mean, I wish. CEX, as you know, I've been a big advocate of them. 5-year warranty. You don't get that with a brand new one. So just go and buy a... I mean, we were looking, weren't we? Like, I mean, my ancient 6Ds that are still like rolling, they're like 200 quid now.
Oh, I know.
And a 5-year warranty, full frame. Well,
yeah.
Hey, what a camera for the money.
Absolutely. But the problem with... I mean, these are crop sensor cameras, these video cameras.
Yep.
And the problem is, I mean, Sony's different. They have a different lens system, but most cameras use crop sensor lenses. You can put a full frame lens on it, but you end up with a weird
Yeah, I mean, it's
lens
only been a relatively recent shift since the Arri Alexa LF became, and especially the LF Mini, that everyone's now, now we're going full frame in cinema world. No, but it was Super 35 for the longest time. Any movie you could think of or name was shot on 35mm film. And then in the digital world, they just aped that, aka Super 35. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these are crop sensor lenses. One of these is a prime, isn't it? Which goes in full frame that we're shooting this podcast on.
Your cam is a
my cam. The cam pointed at me is a
prime,
standard full frame prime, but the other ones are APS-C. And the problem is, if you buy into APS-C and you buy all the lenses, and then one day you move to full frame, you lose all your money.
That's why my last big spend of last year, the anamorphics, I bought the full frame version.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Because one day, I bet you have a full frame video camera.
Well, should one of these ever break, 100% I would upgrade to the full frame Blackmagic.
Yeah. I mean, actually, one of my Blackmagics is broken again. So we've got 3 Blackmagics here that have literally had the hardest life possible.
I mean, both of mine are broken, both differently.
Yeah.
In different ways and shapes and forms. But it's like the Monty Python sketch. It's, come on, tis but a scratch.
Yeah.
Keeps on going.
It's true. But I'm on getting my 4th Blackmagic 6 Pro.
Yeah.
Because they just keep breaking. The non-pro version just seems to keep
the non-pro
shrinking.
has been solid. Again, I've had quirks in mine. I remember trying to get the very last shot on my first short film, and it died. And I thought, the battery's dead. No, it turns out that the battery had like shorted a thing, and it would only work with an LPE6, which I happen to have a spare one, much like your shoot the other week. I always keep a spare one of those for some strange and bizarre reason in a camera bag, and that got the last shot done.
I know, it's just... Yeah, I mean, they're not... The ones we're using, these pocket cameras, they're not pro grade. You wouldn't shoot a massive
image
job on
quality
them.
is pro, but the actual rest of it...
Yeah, it's a bit like the Fuji GFX, to be honest.
And again, like, you know, mine have lived their whole life in a cage. You know, they get babied. And there's still been issues. Some stuff tends to fix itself, but you can't really... Because if it's fixed itself, it's broken again at some point when you least want it to happen.
Yeah, they're not pro grade. If you were shooting 5 days a week, you probably, they wouldn't be alive anymore. But
you have an Ursa instead of one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. But we're not shooting 5 days a week. And I've still shot like national campaigns on that camera.
Yeah. Again, in terms of image quality, it stands up with anything.
Yeah.
It's just, shall we say, lacking robustness.
Yeah, I've shot national campaigns on it. I shot the Greg's coffee campaign on it. I shot the Danone campaign on it, the Alpro campaign on it. I shot the KFC campaign on it. I shot, what else have I shot on it? The Cathedral City campaign on it, which I think is going to win an award by the looks of it. It's one of the best campaigns out there at the moment. Very pleased with that. But that's APS-C. I just think it's redundant. I don't understand why it exists and for what reason. Full frame, considering you can get, when I started my career, the 2470 2.8 on a Canon 5D Mark III was like god tier kit. You can get that combo for £500.
Yeah, that was like one of the like everybody for ballers who had two cameras.
Yeah,
it was a 24 to 70 and the 70 to 200.
Exactly.
So one and done. That was it. Two cams. That everything you ever want.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 5D Mark III is so good because it has all the autofocus points
that worked.
That worked with the 5D and the 60 didn't. The dual card slot.
Yep.
And it could do some 1080p video.
Well, not only that, that was the most evolved version ever of the Magic Lantern.
Yeah, if you're into moving
for
image.
The real nerds.
Yeah.
And so that was like hitting like 4K RAW, all sorts of stuff, just crazy.
Again, though, I would not use Magic Lantern on a professional job.
No. Again, what it is good for actually is an intervalometer.
Yes, it's really good for that actually. If time, I love a time lapse.
You mean
I love a time lapse.
I do remember the when they blew up the council building in Leicester.
Yeah.
Everybody else shot it in slow mo. Scott decides, oh shoot, that was a time lapse.
Yeah. Did look good though.
You got the most epic rooftop spot. You had like the best view of it.
I did get other stuff as well. To be fair, I got a slow mo, a standard, a time lapse, and I got one still image. Because I was like, if I just shoot everything at once, something will be good.
It'll be fine, yeah.
Yeah, that was quite an impressive demolition, actually. The still image was I actually think out of all the videos I did in time-lapse, the still image was the best shot of it. I don't know where it is anymore. It's on a drive.
It'll be about saying one of the many drives.
I mean, like, we've got probably like 300 terabytes in here. There's 160 terabytes in use at the moment, but then we've got the archive. My friend recently was like, oh, my son's lost his wedding pictures. Could you get them back? And I was like, I doubt it. Found them within 20 minutes. Yeah. I was like, here you go. Winner. Like a decade ago. So full frame. If you're shooting landscape, it is convenient, it is high resolution, and it is lightweight. If you're shooting portraits, it is convenient, it is high resolution, and it is lightweight. Full frame is the Swiss Army knife of sensor sizes. There's not many things as a professional photographer you can't shoot with full frame.
But you literally built your career on it.
I built my career on full frame. Yeah. 5D Mark II, shot loads of global campaigns on that. Made loads of it. Like, in terms of return on investment, that is the one.
Yeah.
And I reckon, well, I know, I don't know about profits, I don't have those numbers to hand, but I grossed over $1 million with that camera, which is, and I say over, it's not like $1 million, like a substantial amount. So I used it for like over a decade.
Yeah.
I literally used it for, and I still shot on it recently. I shot that, I had a party to go to after a campaign and it was in Soho. I didn't want to leave my expensive kit in Soho. So I shot a campaign on the 24-105, which is currently with fixation being repaired, and the 5D Mark II for, I can't remember the name of the brand, some water jug, like Brita filters.
And again, it's held together with gaff tape and prayers.
It is battered. Still works though. Still works. Still works.
Again, keeps on trucking.
Yeah. 2 batteries in that grip, lasts all day. So full frame it's hard. Like if you're going into mixed media, video and stills, you buy an R5 secondhand. The R5 Mark II is obviously better, but in terms of like, let's make money and it's a business, the R5 secondhand. If you're doing stills only, you buy a 5DS secondhand. Other brands also have similar level spec. I just don't know what they're called.
No, I mean, again, we've both been Canon users. I mean, there was Big Ollie, who was a Nikon or Nikon, depending on which side of the pond you're on, but loved it. Again, I never used Canon because it seemed like, at least the time when I bought my first camera, which is 2013 now, if you were a hybrid shooter, Canon's video was like streets ahead of anybody else's.
Yes, and it's interesting actually you mentioned Ollie. So Ollie shot, I don't know if he still shoots for Getty or not, but he shot for Getty in sort of the heyday of that sort of world. And he shot Nikon or Nikon, I call it Nikon, we'll just call it Nikon. And the reason he shot Nikon and all the press photographers back then shot Nikon is because they had better autofocus than Canon. and they had lower resolution cameras with the bigger sensor. So the press camera for Canon was the 1.3 crop, which I think is a great crop for sport. It's not so small that you get an APS-C size and it looks a bit cheap, and it's not so big that you're having to buy an 800mm lens. Back in the day, bigger sensors with lower megapixels had better low noise performance. And this is still a fact of physics that is true.
No, the Sony A7S III is so popular because it's an absolute low light beast. 12 megapixels, incredible low light performance.
Exactly. However, my 100 megapixel stacked Fuji GFX. Now, last time I shot low light, I was shooting music photography for years, as you know. I was on a 5D Mark II, and we shot it at 3200 ISO, and everyone thought, this is brilliant. Look how dark it is, and we can still shoot. My 100 megapixel sensor at 3200 ISO barely has any noise.
But equally, extrapolate that to the Sony. Again, it's another dual ISO.
Yeah.
I think the second ISO band starts at 12,800. It's ridiculous.
It's great they can get such low noises, but where are you shooting? Is everyone shooting like candlelit music festivals or something?
Like, well, on moonlight.
Yeah, no, I've got a bit of moonlight coming in, camera left. This will do as nice. It's like, why do you need so much ISO?
I mean, for those, especially with video.
Yeah, but even with video, you're at 50th of a second.
Yeah, so
you got even more light coming in. It's even less relevant, I suppose, in some ways.
But again, it's got to move, and there's nothing worse than like so much fixed pattern noise when things get crazy. So you know, but I get that, and again, that's why that particular camera is legendary.
I understand. Like people, we were watching Shawshank Redemption with the kids. Obviously shot on film, mid-90s. Great family movie.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about Spitting Images latest skit. I don't know if I can say this. You might have to cut this out.
Obviously, yeah.
But they were straight on it because of Randy Andy got arrested, as you know. And it was that Sure to be Shanked Redemption.
Yeah. We'll keep that in.
We're not royalists here.
No. Oh, no, I don't care. Have them, don't have them. Doesn't make my life any different.
Man done wrong, go to prison.
Yeah, absolutely. But back, what was I saying before that?
Shawshank
Redemption.
Yes, sorry.
The low light shots there on ISO 800 film or ASA 800 film, noisy as anything, does not make the movie any worse.
No, but nobody cared. I mean, that's the thing. And again, it's one of those traps, and we've all fallen into it, especially as coming from a hobbyist perspective and then turning into a job. Oh, it's got to be clean, no noise. Again, you watch old films, you do not care that it's grainy as hell.
Well, so I come from a film photography background, and I used to shoot Delta 3200 because of the grain.
Yeah.
And the Fuji 1600 color film, because of the grain. In good light, we'd shoot it to get the grain. Whereas now it's all gone clinical. And I think this is a good point to mention this before we move on to the bigger formats. The equipment you use has a very, very small impact on your career. Considering I can shoot on anything I want today, the only reason my career exists is because I shot on full frame cameras. I genuinely believe I wouldn't have been able to get my images to be as good on crop sensor.
No, that's fair.
And I could take a good photograph today on a micro four thirds sensor. It would be better on my medium format camera considerably. And yes, the general public don't know the difference. They'll look at it and go, that's a cool picture. They don't know. The people who hire me, the creative directors, the art directors, and the art buyers, they know. Also, if you turn up on set and it's a commercial shoot, they expect a certain level of production. When they're paying £150,000, you're not rocking up with an APS-C cancer?
Definitely
Freudian slip.
Definitely not rocking up with that.
You're turning up with one of these bag boys I got behind me here, like a big proper camera, a real camera. A big.
I mean, I would also say, just on a personal level, I remember when I upgraded my first ever camera, which was a 650D.
Yep.
And then I rolled up with 6D. I'm like, yeah, player.
Yeah.
And it looked exactly the same. I'm like, all right, so the camera isn't the limitation, I am.
So
until I got to understand the camera, which came much later.
Yeah. I shot 645 medium format and 35 medium full frame before getting an APS-C digital camera. And I remember the disappointment at jumping down to APS. I was just like, Yeah, it's great. It does low light. It's got high resolution, all the rest of it, but you've lost the depth. And everyone going, oh, you can do this equivalent. No, you can't, because yes, you can theoretically, but in a practical implication on a shoot, you can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Now, jumping up, you don't spot the difference straight away, but jumping down, you would 100% know.
Yeah, I mean, even going from GFX to full frame, I was like, oh, for the same composite, we just lost the depth. And I shoot at f16, I can still see the depth. Yeah. So medium format. Who should be shooting medium format? In today's age, where you can buy for $2,000 a 100 megapixel Fuji or Hasselblad sort of job, I think anybody who's shooting landscape should be using a medium format, because that's a great application. Yep. I think anybody doing cityscapes, if they're doing it professionally, architecture, if they're doing it professionally, and making enough money to justify it. This is not going, oh, I'm shooting on an APS-C size thing, doing interiors and architecture, I now need a medium format. Of course you don't. If you're not making enough money to justify the cost of it, keep cracking on. Like, it's not going to, let's take my mum, for example. She used to have an online store. She did her own photography with my old 50D crop sensor camera and a Sigma zoom. Theoretically, she's a professional photographer. She's doing the professional photography for that thing, lighting it, all the rest of it, editing it, uploading it. Her getting a better camera at that level doesn't matter. If she went and got a full frame camera, she ain't going to sell more products.
No.
And if you're currently shooting APS-C and I've just gone, oh, that genre needs medium format, really, going and buying a medium format camera is not going to change your career. In the same way, someone's like, well, if you're doing what you do, Scott, you've got the Fuji, why don't you get a Phase 1 IQ 3150? If I go and buy two of those backs, and I'm tens of thousands of pounds down, my next job, I'm still charging the same price.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of cap out. I mean, equally, I'd say, and this is things like, we're talking about, say, £2,000 as a benchmark, as you just mentioned. Now, let's be honest, that's still not a small amount of money by any metric. That's a lot of cash. I could not
afford. Yeah, and this is what's really interesting. I remember the first time I saw how much a 5D Mark II was, $2,000 secondhand. I was like, there's not a chance. I'm never going to have £2,000 spare to buy that camera body. And then they came down to £1,200 secondhand. And it took me probably 6 months of having a day job and doing photography to save up £1,200 to buy that first one. And then it was probably another 2 years before I could buy a second one. And then I remember one day on a job, when we were shooting with the 5DS system, I went out and bought 3 camera bodies in one day without batting an eyelid, because I needed them for a job, and then sold them afterwards. Actually, I didn't sell them. I was supposed to sell them afterwards, but we hung on to them for like another 5 years because I'm a bit lazy like that. And it's a snowballing effect of purchasing. Buying your first camera for £500 is an insane purchase. Buying your next camera for £1,000 is an insane purchase. Then dropping 10 grand on a camera, oddly, isn't. Because by the time you're ready to do it...
If you're working at that level, at that point, then it kind of all makes sense. But then, while yes, I mean, £2,000 is a lot of money, and it still befuddles me. That's a good word. When you consider that, like, an R5 is what, £4,000 now?
Oh, yeah.
Like, so you could buy 2 of yesteryears for the same money. That makes more sense than buying a brand new one.
Agreed. Hard agree. And I think with the price for secondhand medium format, if you're not shooting action, it's very hard to justify a full frame camera today.
Yeah.
When you can just get a Hasselblad, a Phase,
Fuji.
You get a Leaf, a Mamiya, like old backs, chuck those on there. You can get a Sinar back if you're doing still life. Fuji GFX system, the Hasselblad, whatever they're called system. There's so many options. And a bigger sensor will make your work look better. Guaranteed. And then there's crop medium format and full frame medium format. And everyone in the comments go, it can't be crop. It's just what we call it. Semantics.
It's not. I mean, Fuji don't call theirs full medium format. They call it bigger than full frame, don't they?
No, they call it medium format now.
Oh, they do now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Anything bigger than 35mm is officially medium format in the language we use today. Obviously, back in the day, it wouldn't have been. And even 645 wasn't classed as real medium format. That was like baby medium format.
Was it 8x10 was the big boy? Or what was
8x10 is what all the still life people use. 4x5 if they're being a bit cheap, all on trannies, which is a very different word nowadays, but that's what we called transparencies back in the day. Yeah. 6.7 was the format you'd shoot magazines for and a lot of stuff because it was the exact aspect ratio of the magazine page, which was very useful.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot, you know. If I was a hobbyist landscape photographer, I'd be Ansel Adaming's my arse up that mountain with an 8x10. Why not? If you're really in it for the love of the craft, take that big camera. Nothing digital compares to an 8x10. Nothing. And if I was a street photographer, and you know, you're not making money doing that, let's be honest, Leica M6.
You've always been a Leica.
Leica M6. I nearly bought one last week on eBay.
You always nearly bought a Leica.
I know,
as long as I've known you, you've nearly always bought a Leica.
I'm always like one gin and tonic away from buying an M6. But just buy the Leica, you know, and if you want digital, buy the digital Leica. Don't micro four thirds it. There's no, it's just, this is just my opinion, you know, of course I could do my job on a micro four thirds camera. Of course I could. I wouldn't. The lenses aren't as good. And this is the other thing, right? An 8x10 lens is insane. A medium format lens makes a full frame L lens look like a kit lens. A full frame lens makes an APS-C lens just look redundant. The money, the part of it's physics, but then the money you have to put into a medium format lens to make it good enough for the medium format sensor is insane. Also, by the time someone's willing to spend 25 grand on a digital back, you better bet they're going to spend 25 grand on a lens.
I mean, again, it's proportional.
Yeah. So the lenses get better the bigger the system you go for. Relative, like obviously there's outliers.
Of course. And I think this is a branch topic, and I think hopefully you'll agree with me. I mean, you don't always.
Yeah,
is that if you're going to invest a lot of money, invest it in the glass, not the body, because bodies time out every 4 years or so, give or take.
For stills, yes. For video, I wouldn't fully agree.
No,
because it's moving so fast at the moment.
Well,
in the affordable budget.
And again, it's like everything runs in cycles. Again, we were talking about going from the clean, got to be clean, crisp. Now, people now want things with flaws, character. Hence the popularity now of relatively. I mean, like again, it's still expensive, but relatively affordable anamorphic lenses. There's a lot wrong with an anamorphic. So you've seen mine.
Yeah.
But there's something lovely about them at the same time. It's like, yeah, this isn't right, this isn't right, that's great. But now this is interesting. It's not just clinical.
Correct, yes.
Compared to like the Sigma sphericals, which are by DxO Mark ratings, perfect.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this was an 1835 1.8 lens we've got here.
Absolute anomaly.
It is
shouldn't exist.
It shouldn't exist. It is a zoom lens, which is fast, and it is detailed, and it is sharp, and it doesn't really have any flaws that crop up in my life.
And it's practically parafocal.
It's cheap.
It's for what it is.
It's like 350 quid second hand.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Whereas I think my same zoom lens for the medium format, which is an f4, which is relatively about right aperture and all the rest of it, that was about 2,300.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slightly better lens.
Again, there's a lot more glass in that. But
it's a big boy.
And again, with a caveat that, again, these are APS-C lenses. So they work, again, for video on 2x35 or Mark 4/3, perfect. Anything bigger,
the image circle is not enough.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't be done. Well, I'm sure it could be done, but it'd be impractical in price.
You can shoot it on 35mm on a full frame.
Oh, can it? Has it got a big enough image circle?
Yeah, at 35mm, anything less than that, vignetted for days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember shooting a boxing match with, of all things, with that at 35mm. And I had Mike Tyson's old sparring partner.
Oh, nice.
And one of the funniest things, I know I'm going a complete tangent here. I know you're into sports.
I'm a tangent man.
It was the sports, you play football. You don't play boxing, mate.
No, you do not play boxing.
Can you imagine being Mike Tyson's sparring partner?
Poor guy, but he's lost some brain cells.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
he says, I wasn't good enough to be a pro, but I was a good punch bag. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I hope you got paid well. Jesus. So I get, that's probably a good part to end the talk on sensors before we get into something a bit interesting and off topic here. A bit more our usual talk, I suppose. We're going quite tech heavy recently. But yeah, I mean, you can do any career on any sensor, obviously. However, there are clearly certain things that make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about future-proofing yourself, I think it's probably fair to say. So.
Absolutely. If somebody brings out a 4x5, 5x4 digital, it's different in the States from America. We do it 4x5 and they do it 5x4. Digital back, 5 years after it comes out, I'll buy that secondhand. Well, I'd never buy a camera brand new if I can avoid it, because just depreciation. It's so much.
Yeah, I mean,
so much.
You know, I mean, there's certain things. I mean, I bought these Black Magics when they first came out because, again, it was an absolute game changer. I was like,
so I bought mine brand new when it came out, I think, the 6K.
You know, but if one of them broke, I mean, I'd probably now move to the full frame. But again, I'd probably buy a second-hand one from the aforementioned place that gives you 5 years warranty that we're not sponsored by.
Yeah. Come and sponsor us.
If you're listening, though, CX.
Yeah. I can't. Everyone's like, oh, but you can put the depreciation through your company. Yes, you can, but you can put the depreciation through off a cheaper item to your company as well.
Yeah.
Just don't spend money if you don't have to. So, AI.
Oh, yeah.
We've had an interesting week over at... so for those who don't know, I work as an agent. I'm the executive producer as well at Agent at Large. I also work as a photographer. I work with post-production houses. I work with AI artists. There's 3 of them that I work with at the moment. Guess how much work they're getting?
I'm guessing in the current climate, because there's been such a massive pushback against it, not that much.
Zero work for the AI people. It is stark out there. I mean, they weren't getting much work in the first place, but AI is just
it's been particularly interesting. As you know, I still do a residency with the company that I was working for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
3 days a week. Now, he's the boss, and we've spoke about this, and you've never believed half of the stories, even though they're completely real. It's just brought his son into the business, who's an artist, an actual sketchy artist type. And he was like, he's got one guy, again, it's like, remember Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings? It's a lot like that. So he's got his mate Seth, who, of course, is talking to him because he runs an AI business. And he was like, yeah, it's all about AI, mate, AI. And Will's like, bro, no. It's like, do you know how awful and terrible? And anybody like under the age of 25 vehemently against it. Like, oh my God, that AI slop. That's the actual...
AI slop,
the current catchphrase.
Yeah, we've talked about that phrase before on here, actually.
Yeah.
And so here's a really good example of it. I love my dog, Teddy, as you know.
You do. Yeah.
I love
you do
my
love
dog.
That dog.
He is my best boy. However, if I want a photograph of him, I was like, oh, you can just, take a phone picture, chuck into AI. If I want a proper portrait of him, I'm paying for a proper portrait of him. If I want a drawing of him, I'm not getting an AI sketch of him. I don't want that. I want a drawing of my dog or a painting of my dog.
No.
I don't want an AI image of my dog.
There's a lot of really interesting, as you know, I've got a lot of actual artist friends.
Yeah.
Not me, obviously, because I can't. Inside a computer, I can do anything.
Yeah.
But in the real world, I've got no skill. And like one of them, Sarah Smith, who's big fan of, who made my Odin booties for me.
Yeah.
Like she used to be the resident artist at Twycross Zoo. And her animal work is just insane. I mean, finally, respect to the woman, she's now working as a tattoo artist and finally getting paid what she's worth.
Good.
Like for the first time in a very, very, very long time. And there's no AI can do what she does. It's incredible. But
also, would you want, say you wanted a tattoo, you needed designing, would you want an AI designed tattoo? I wouldn't.
Oh, not even that. Shark Tank, the American version of Dragon's Den.
Yes.
There's a guy that basically made like an automated tattoo machine where you punch the thing in, stick your arm in, and it really?
No.
And they were like, ugh. No, and it's one of those things, like there's certain things, I mean, AI's here, it's not going away, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be here forever, like CGI and everything else.
Like every new tool, like remember digital photography, that's the end of it. It's all done, it's not the end of it, it's Scott, you're still here 10 years later.
Exactly.
But again, all the naysayers. Now, it's one of these things that when they say it's all over, they're half right. You know the half in the bag kind of theory. And I say so what AI...
Just watch your mic there, I think you're missing it a bit.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
What AI has done of late is, especially in the film world, I mean, again, more my area than yourselves, is shown how ridiculous Hollywood is with their £250,000 budgets, when what some of these guys are doing, making, and this is the important bit, better stories with next to no budget using AI compared to what they're just throwing out kind of in the landscape of Hollywood. So I think the days of 300 people on set, are well and truly numbered. I think them days are like...
Do you think?
Almost over. Yeah, I genuinely believe that. But what I think it's going to do is, like, again, almost as a Generation Jedi, bring balance to the Force. That now you've got, it's always going to cycle back to what's most important, and it's the story.
Yes. I agree with the story part, and I think what technology does and advance, like everyone's like, oh, like you say, digital photography is ruined. Anyone can do it now. It democratizes it in a way that anybody has the opportunity to be a creative without money being the limiting factor.
Like YouTube did.
Exactly.
Completely
exactly like that.
Broke all the studios.
Could you imagine how much, this is the equivalent of a radio show. Could you imagine how much money it would cost for us to do this
on the BBC
20 years ago?
Yeah.
It'd be insane. Whereas now it costs us a few £100 to do 2 episodes. I think it probably, like, quick maths on the top of my head, like this episode probably cost £200 to make in like costs, like going out. £200 an episode.
Yeah, assuming you already own the kit.
Yeah. Assuming we've got to borrow the kit. Make it maybe £225 over the course of 3 years of owning the kit as well. So that's great. We've not seen a reduction in crews being needed. We've seen the opposite. We've seen crews being increased in size because everybody, and we're not only crews, we've also seen every client asking for behind the scenes videos of the shoot happening because they want to prove that it really happened.
Yeah.
Like, look, here it is. It happened.
Because of the pushback with AI.
Because of the pushback with AI. And everything is like, can we do it in camera? And because of that, we're needing model makers, we're needing extra gaffers, we're needing extra sparks, and all these extra people who weren't being used recently are now coming back into the fold. Now, this is a short-term thing. This isn't going to be forever like this. Short-term, everything is being done in Canva. Nobody wants the word AI near their brand. It's like a death sentence of marketing.
Was it Coca-Cola got absolutely hammered for it?
McDonald's had to pull the TV campaign, but it's just. It's such a dirty word right now. Everyone I know who uses AI or who was an AI artist hasn't worked for a considerable amount of time. Of course, there's still brands out there using AI.
Of course. Well, Nissan, the 6-fingered Nissan.
Yes. Look how well they're doing.
Well, I'm driving one right now. I can say with some certainty.
There's a lot to it. Now, this is what's happening now. And this is like today now. So today now, behind the scenes is everything. You'll notice my last few shoots are being posted behind the scenes so people know it's real. It's a authenticity. You'll notice that shots are being created in camera more rather than let's just sort this in post. There's a much more of a let's do it all. Apple did that TV commercial where they shot it all in camera and it could have been a CGI. It would have been maybe not cheaper, being quicker.
Definitely not cheaper. I mean, again,
CGI is expensive.
Not only that, I mean, Apple shot on iPhone, brilliant.
Yeah.
With like an £80,000 gimbal.
Yeah.
A couple of £1 million worth of ARRI sky panels. It's like brilliant.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got that, right?
No, exactly. And I mean, that's going to change. They're not going to be able to do that anymore because everyone's become so distrusting. Like, yeah, everyone knows if it says shot on, yes, an iPhone was in there somewhere, but it's not sustained. Like, it's going to start being real people's footage that you use. I'm sure of it. There's going to be a real shift. Film, in terms of like the medium of shooting on film, is coming back massively coming back. Like loads of people we want it shot on film with the film borders so we can say this is shot on film. The behind the scenes, everything being made, everything being real. The way food is being styled is changing. They're going, so it went really super clean and clinical, which I personally love. And that was from back in before that, it was like the Jamie Oliver style, just like mess everywhere, all crumbs everywhere. And it's gone somewhere between the two now, which I think is a good medium place. And that's great. But this is a knee-jerk reaction to the AI backlash. It is going to then go back a little bit and settle somewhere between.
The pendulum always swings.
Yes, and currently, I mean, it's swung massively in favor of AI, and now it's swung massively in favor of real, must be real. We want real people.
Yeah.
I can't believe, if 3 years ago we said, is there budget for behind-the-scenes film? You're paying for that yourself. Now, everybody, can we get behind-the-scenes film, behind-the-scenes photographer? We want to tell a story about making it, and I'm all here for that. I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of the best things we could do. And it's really cemented that the technology, despite this first half of the episode, the majority of it being about technology, it isn't what people care about. They care about people, they care about stories, they care about creativity. You can use AI to aid that. I use AI for loads of stuff to save time where it doesn't matter. But when it matters, it's got to be real.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if we AI scripted a podcast?
We should actually do that once just to see what happens.
We should do. I mean, I know it wouldn't be good. I mean, I'd go in a lot going into AI, or give me 10 title variations of this YouTube video. So if you're not aware, I'm sure you are by now, doesn't matter how good a YouTube video is, if the title and thumbnail are not correct, it doesn't get any views.
I mean, you spent like time deep diving that.
Oh, so much research into it. There's a whole formula behind it which works with people's psychology. And it's not clickbaiting, because that doesn't work either, because the way that YouTube pushes you out, if people click on it and click off straight away, they tank your video.
Again, they get wise to it. So
you've got to get the first 30 seconds for it to count. So between the title and the thumbnail in the first 30 seconds, it has to be this like harmonious, like question answer system going on for it to work. AI can't even do that. Can't do it. You get to do 3 thumbnails and 3 titles. And for a while I did 2 of my thumbnails, 2 of my titles, 1 AI title, 1 AI thumbnail design. The AI one never won. It was always one of my own.
Yeah.
Actually, the AI one was always the worst.
And
always the worst.
The word you used earlier is authenticity.
Authenticity. And that's what people want. And it's, again, I was speaking to Paul the other day. He was like, I've noticed you're leaving gaps in the podcast now if you have to go and grab something. I was like, yeah, you don't want it too polished and too perfect. Like, it needs to be decent. The audio needs to be okay. It doesn't need to be brilliant, though, because it's what's being said that matters. Same with YouTube videos. Everyone's like, oh, your lighting's a bit off. And it's like, oh, it's because the sun just came out from behind the cloud. Like, I can't. I mean, I could spend ages like doing it as a TV production, but I'm going to make 75 quid from that video. So it's a one and done.
Yeah. And in fairness, I think, especially with this kind of, like a podcast, for example, the audio is way more important than the visuals.
I think so.
Because I think it's fair to say, like, something with great visuals and awful audio, you'll click off it immediately.
I can't tell it.
You know, with the room boom and all that, like, so bad. But equally, something with like sketchy visuals but crisp audio, I'll listen to that.
Yeah,
I'll watch that.
I'd agree with that. I think it's very much you've got to work out what the priority is and just ignore what everyone says, because there's always somebody who's angry about something. And it's interesting as well, actually. I did a poll asking, like, if you have one of my videos, look at the comments about AI, you'd assume that everyone who watches my videos thinks that AI is going to take over the world and we're all doomed. Did a poll, only 2% of people actually think that.
Yeah.
It's just they're a very loud 2%.
But again, it's just it's one of those. It's kind of shows a current buzzword.
Yes.
Like again, like, oh my god, AI, right? So the minute they introduced the clone stamp tool in Photoshop, there's AI.
Yeah.
And that was 20 odd years ago.
Oh, I know. I remember when CGI came out though, and everyone was like, photography is over. CGI is so expensive, and AI is even more expensive.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap day out.
Nope.
And I was like, oh, have you seen Nano Banana? I'm like, yes, it is useless. Like, try using that with a client going, can we just? It's like, no, no, we can't. No, we can't. So there we go. I think that's a good time to wrap it. We're coming up to the hour.
Indeed.
Which is longer than we're trying to keep these a bit shorter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, although, again, talk about polls, you did do a poll recently, didn't you? Like, would you like a shorter one or a longer one? It was literally split 50-50.
It was split 50-50. So we're just going to do them 50-50.
And just rambling, it's as long as it is.
Yeah. So this will be our long one. Maybe next week's episode will be a shorter one. We'll see. Who knows? There we go.
Well, ciao for now.
See you later.